Hey, everybody. I'm Chris Martin, and this is going to be a new series. I, as a business owner, wanted to reach out in these very uncertain and new and interesting times and to other businesses to see how they are operating with new restrictions, new ways of doing life, new ways of doing business, how it's affected, how they've done things. And, ultimately it's a task that we all have to look at and to really see what's going to be involved going forward while we're going to survive as business owners if we have how we're going to have to pivot. So I've reached out and sent the call out last night to Facebook in general to see if any business owners wanted to jump in and be part of this series. And so we're just going to do some basic interviews, just chatting with people to see how best that we can all help each other in the long run, how we can patronize each other's businesses properly, and what are the services we're now offering that we weren't before to be able to take care of the general public, our clientele, potential clients, and make sure everybody is taken care of. So today I have Sara Paape from Raptor Consulting, and we're going to get her up here on the screen, and we are going to let her run with it. So Sara, welcome. Thank you for being part of this today. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate the opportunity. And I'm always game to try something new.
Absolutely. And to those watching, bear with us as we're running a whole bunch of technicals. I'm literally running my switcher, everything entirely by myself while I'm asking the questions. So this is always fun for me. So if we have technical issues, just please bear with us. I'm going to iron all this out. This is literally the first in this series. But so Sara, tell the audience a little bit about what Raptor does.
Sure. So we're a small business. May 7th will actually be our 2-year anniversary. So yay! And we're going to celebrate even if we're still on social distancing. So we're a small business. We focus primarily on helping small businesses and nonprofits expand their budget, create leaner budgets, find ways to better communicate with clients or donors, create transparency. We do a lot of custom teaching, a lot of leadership innovations, goal settings, writing, reporting. Really, we're here to fill in the gaps that a lot of small businesses and nonprofits have because of smaller budgets, and really teach you that your smaller size doesn't have to limit you. It can actually make it easier for you to grow faster and do what you do even better.
Excellent. Excellent. So what type of businesses do you specifically focus on?
Great question. So, wow, no one's ever asked me that before. So I like to focus on businesses that are facing a current challenge. I love challenges. Particularly one is increasing client base or donor base. I also really enjoy helping design fundraisers or ways to attract more donors and increase visibility in that market. So I would say I like looking for the companies that are maybe have their backs against the wall and help them restructure and find new ways to do things and save money all at the same time.
Excellent. Excellent. So before this all went south, before everybody had to change the way of doing things, how did your business look? Does it look drastically different, or did it look drastically different than it does now?
So up until last week, we had our office open. So we are actually in a state certified incubator. So we have about 200 square feet office that we rent, and we're part of a community, and we work with other businesses and share great features. Last week, when the schools decided that they were going to stay closed until April 6th, building that I'm in, which is part of Great Plains, decided they were going to be closed as well. So as tenants, we're allowed to be in there, but it's harder to have clients, and we had a lot of limitations that I kind of just thought it was easier if I moved my operations home. So I'm now working from the kitchen table. My studio set up to do my Facebook Lives is actually in my teenage daughter's bedroom. So we are working on looking professional. And this morning, while I taught one of my first seminars, my 2 dogs, my boys, had a barking fit. So we can look a little not as professional as we did, but I'm trying to laugh a lot. I'm trying to grow and stretch myself. And we are also having clients who are placing their contracts with us on pause, which completely understand. So we're trying to find ways to spend the next month investing in the community and doing everything through Facebook Live or Zoom meetings. So that's all new technology for me. I had to learn how to set it up. I have a better setup tonight, or to this afternoon. I had to get lighting and learn how to angle my computer so I didn't have a second chin and you couldn't see up my nose. So it's been a stretch. One of the biggest things for me is I've always believed in supporting other small businesses, and I would love to have the time to share more other businesses on my Facebook page, but that's really become a priority right now for me. And also switching all my business personally over to other small businesses. Even if it's a change I'm not as crazy about, because I feel like we need to invest in each other. And when I say not as crazy about, I mean, all my businesses, the product's just a little different, but that's where we are.
Excellent. I apologize for that. I was kicking up the stream on another computer to test it. So apologize for the interruption there. So, beforehand, I think for the most part, what I know about your business is that in general, most of your communication, most of dealing with clients is online. So you're not doing a lot of face-to-face in general. And I know you do teach classes, things like that, but most of your larger contracts are remote anyway. Right. So I'm assuming that with this change outside of contracts being put on hold, that the communication side hasn't changed all that much.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. If anything, it's made me more aware and conscientious of communicating more, making sure that I have touch points with clients, making sure that the ones that have put contracts on hold, that I'm continuing to reach out to support them and let them know we're here, but not in a way that's creating pressure by any means. I think the biggest change and what's the hardest for me is the teaching. I like to teach off of the energy of the room and teach off of the audience. So I'll have a whole class prepared. I'll have a whole curriculum, PowerPoint, everything to go. But if there's a shift in the class, then I like to shift with the class. And so teaching my first hour and a half long class today, and I couldn't see anyone, was the most bizarre experience of my life. And I just had to hope that I had it right the whole time. So teaching, I'm facing a whole new challenge, which is okay. I need to learn it.
Absolutely. I know we're all going to be going through a lot of new changes and whatnot with that. But at the same time, I'm glad for the most part, you haven't had to adapt too much. As a photographer, obviously I have to put people in front of my lens, and now we're having to social distance everybody. And I can't exactly send them my camera and say, set this up and I'll take your picture. So it's definitely shifting everything on my side. But, I can appreciate that lack of energy, not having that personal connection, that personal contact is absolutely something we feed on. And, especially when we are the face of the business, we're not large conglomerates, we're not large corporations. So our businesses are our face effectively. So I 100% get, the drawback there. Yeah. So I know that in general, you've got everybody that works for you is family, your workforce. So I'm assuming you are in the beneficial step of not having to adjust your workforce size.
You are 100% correct. We are a family-run business entirely, and we intend to stay that way as long as possible because it provides us not any tax breaks, but it allows us to operate differently, and it actually saves us money. So no, we aren't laying anybody off. We have all agreed to roll up our sleeves, to work even harder than we have been working, and to, if we do get paid, just get paid by the bare minimum. But there is an understanding that we might not get paid for a little bit. My mom and my dad work well, I don't know if you'd classify it as full-time, but they would be my closest to full-time employees. My mom is our business manager. And then she's also I guess you would say she's my compliance officer, because she's incredible at making sure that we are 100% kosher, that everything is good. And she's also got some of the best ideas. Then my dad is our senior business analyst and our proofreader. And so I've been able to keep him busy with some writing projects. And then my daughter is our social media manager, and she's actually working to get us ahead right now. And we're hitting social media much heavier than we normally do. So I'm worried we're going to annoy some people, but I'm trying to share as much as we can. And then there's me. and I'm used to working about 80 to 100 hours a week. So it's the norm. And then when Rick is on break from grad school, my husband, he jumps in, and he is just started today a 3-week break. So I think we're going to try to make some updates, maybe move our website, but we all understand we're working to pay bills right now. There's probably not going to be any salary.
And unfortunately, I think that's the way it is for a lot of people. Even people that have the benefit of being able to put a nest egg aside, having savings, things like that. We're all at this point in time where we're just concerned about, how long does that last? We have so many questions for the rest of the world, for leaders, for scientists, for everybody, not knowing how long this is going to last. And it's hard to adjust budgets accordingly. So we just all go down to nothing and hope for the best. I think we're going to learn a lot as business owners, as individuals, through this whole process on how to save, and ultimately what is most important when it comes to purchases, and what do we have to do, what do we like to do. We'll learn a lot, I think, through this process. So we've talked about the online portion, being able to teach classes online. And, just a side note, I saw that Zoom, the company that we're using for this stream, their valuation went up like $20 billion over the last 2 weeks because of everybody switching to Zoom for their meetings. I mean, they were in the right place at the right time, had the right product, and they're killing it. So, obviously they're in a safe space as long as the internet stays alive. But, how else are you pivoting outside of the online classes in that realm? What are you able to take care of now that you were too busy to take care of beforehand?
Those are great questions. So I'm actually getting to be a little bit more of a mom right now, which I know isn't part of being a business owner, but I'm really, really enjoying being able to be more of a hands-on mom. As far as the business, I have to be honest, even though I only have a 15-minute commute, I am loving not having the car time. So it's given me more time to think and plan. And our business model has always been one of invest, build relationships, invest in the community that we're in, invest in people, and the business will come. So with the changes, we're getting ready to launch starting April 1st, some really exciting things. We're going to start doing coffee breaks 2 mornings a week where we'll have Facebook Live discussions. I'm hoping they're interactive, and where we'll teach some skills. We're going to do 2 lunch and learns a week and charge probably $5 a person and cover topics that we've covered before, but help people build skills. And then we're going to do on Wednesday nights after dinner tidbits, be named that one. I love that name. Where we teach classes we've taught before, but during the day, the normal working hours, so most people couldn't come. And then on Thursday afternoons, we're going to offer a series of master classes. And so because I'm not running around and I don't have a commute and meetings have been canceled, I have the time to really focus on investing in others. And I've decided to just really, really cut our prices and increase the value because of how much everybody is struggling right now. So that's my way of opening the doors to more people, making sure more people can attend and ask questions and get the energy, the synergy, the hope, the resiliency, and the skills they need. Because here's the thing, this isn't going to last forever. I really think that by mid-May, we're going to be back to normal. And we have the chance to take this next month to really focus, understand what our businesses are doing, what our purpose is, and to really prepare and amp up. I think I might even start a book club. I don't know. So it's giving me the chance to explore some things that I'm really wanting to explore and been working on. And I have to be honest, Chris, I might keep the reduced meetings because I'm enjoying the energy that I'm getting from this. So let's see.
Now, I definitely appreciate I appreciate it and hate it at the same time, having the free time, if you will. I'm an introvert at heart. I'm an ambivert, but that whole being able to tackle things as needed. I'm forcing myself to do it. Things I procrastinated on for so long, and I have no excuse now. I can't say I don't have time for it. So between new website and a new kind of secret project I've been working on that unfortunately I'm having to put on hold as a result of everything shutting down. I mean, literally the whole second quarter of this year for me was a complete flip and upender of what my plans were or what was current. And it looks like we're at least delaying that 90 days now, which, I roll with it. You got to be adjustable and agile and be able to pivot quickly as a small business owner. So yeah, but it's nice also to be able to just sit at home and listen to absolute silence. And I forgot what silence sounded like until yesterday. I just sat there in my comfy couch in the living room and just almost like zoned out, and my ears were ringing because I had not heard silence in so long. And it was tricky for me to be comfortable with that. I'm having to teach myself that again. So I think a lot of us will learn how to meditate more, how to be more in tune with ourselves and take care of ourselves more than everybody's emergency having to be taken care of. And thankfully I only live 6 blocks away from here, so I don't have to drive too long. But I do know that, I get stressed when I'm driving long distances and clients are calling, things like that. Because as a one-man show, I don't have an assistant or anybody else to take care of my emails, my text messages. And because of safety, obviously I can't, answer while I'm, text message while I'm driving. I can do the speakerphone thing, I can do Siri, but that only works so much. So having to adjust with that is uncomfortable, but beneficial. And I get that. And, if I had a big enough apartment, I would probably consolidate everything into that, just get rid of the studio altogether now. Cause like I said, I can't have any visitors. So it's just kind of the way it is. So, but thankfully I will say that I'm in a position where, because of the industries and services, whatnot, that are classified as emergency or essential, I do actually provide services to them as needed and to get their message out. So thankfully it's something that I'm in a position to be able to help with that. And it keeps me from going completely stir crazy, but it's also not a complete replacement for the revenue stream that I had. So yeah, we're definitely all tightening the belts and lowering the cost of things while either maintaining or increasing the value with it, which is kind of the offset of how generally you want to run business. I mean, you never want to lower the value of what you're offering, but to lower the price and up the value, it kind of flies in the way of general business practices. So it's something that, as long as we're not panicking, as long as we're doing this with intentionality and thinking that's the best thing to do, then I think ultimately that's the good thing. Okay, so how best, if clients want to reach out to you, they want to get involved through Raptor In, how best do they get with you?
They can message us on Facebook. They can message us on Instagram. They can email me. My email is on the website. I actually took down the contact us on the website because there was a glitch and I wasn't getting messages, and I didn't want to continue to not get that. Or to be honest, I think my cell phone's on our Facebook page. I guarantee you're welcome to call, text, email, Facebook message, however you are most comfortable getting in contact with us. If I can't answer the phone and B is with me, she will answer the phone and take a message, or probably has the answer, to be honest with you. And so we will reach you. However, I actually had a potential client call me this morning. So it's interesting and interesting times, but I just want to echo, not to panic. Please don't have any fear. Honestly, I think we need to look at this period as a gift. As you said, we're able to slow down, hear silence again, and finish some projects. But I would like to even challenge that further and say, what strategic planning have you done? Where are you in your strategic planning? Where are you in your marketing plan? And this isn't a pitch for business, because you can Google how to do this on your own, or you can develop a system to do this on your own. But if you have the moment to just sit quietly, plan, invest in yourself, invest in your business, read a book, listen to a podcast, create a strategic plan, go through your budget, go through your bank account, find all those automatic drafts that you don't really pay attention to, but you don't really need that either. So this is a time where we could really economize, but also go back to what's important. And when I started this business, I'll be honest, Chris, I never started it to get rich. That's not my goal. My goal is to make enough to just not live paycheck to paycheck and hit the Caribbean once a year. So not a lot of money. My goal has always been to invest in my community, to continue to give back more than what I've been given. But I'll tell you, every time I try to give back, I end up and get more in return. And at times like this, I think volunteering is the way to go. And it's finding that creative outlet to do that. So I'm driving everybody in my house crazy because I'm putting a positive spin on this. And so I would say for our businesses, let's plan, let's come together, let's do teamwork. And find me. I'll answer a text message and email. I'll point you in the right direction or sign you up for a class.
Excellent. Well, so everybody can see right here, Sara's website, 3raptorconsulting.com, and contact information is on there. So you can call her, you can email her directly, get a hold of her however you want to, and be able to reach out with any questions you may have for her, and see what she can do for you. Because I know in this time, especially in this time of refinement, being able to, like she said, work on budgets, work on strategic plans, and be able to just kind of get our heads on straight, to get rid of the distractions and the things that are holding us back. So when this all goes away, when we find a time where life returns to the new normal, that we can hit the ground running instead of having to prep. It's always best to stay ready and ahead of the game. That way, when it's time to go, you don't have to start exercising and training. You are ready to go, and it's just instant. So like I said, website's right here. Reach out to them if you have any questions. And I'm actually going to look here and see if we've got anything on the stream to see if there are any questions for you. And it doesn't look like it. So yeah. So anything that I can answer for you?
Let's see. So I've noticed that a lot of the museums are doing virtual tours of artwork and exhibits and giving you an up close and personal look into things we normally wouldn't get to. So I know I never ever have the time. And when you had the gallery exhibit, especially the one of the protectors, I just never had the time to spend in front of each picture like I wanted to. So are you going to offer us a way to see more in depth and explore your artwork, kind of do a Smithsonian tour?
Well, actually, that's a great idea. Honestly, I had not thought about putting the protector in a public series. Right now, it's unfortunately sitting in boxes on my living room table, and it's quite large. And yeah, so I need to actually post that and get that online. So I will probably do like a one a day kind of feature, and or a couple times a week kind of feature, to get those out there, to get the story out there. Because, since we took the series down in July, it's been in the dark, and I hate that. We've invested so much time and effort into it. I just don't want it to sit there and gather dust, proverbially, and sometimes literally. So yeah, I love that idea. Most of my other stuff is available on Instagram and everything else, but very little of it is curated in that museum type of gallery setup. So yeah, that's something else I can work on and see what we can do there. Cause I know you helped me a lot with that project too, with the writing, the interviewing, and couldn't have pulled that off without your help. So it was absolutely a blast. And so, yeah.
So another question for you. Do you have any behind the scenes footage of when you do shoots or anything, any bloopers? Cause we all know Chris Martin, the photographer, but very few of us know Chris Martin, the man. And I think right now making more of a personal connection would be great, especially if we could see some of the things you go through shooting pictures.
So there's not a lot of behind the scenes. Typically I'm by myself when I'm shooting. So if we do that, it has to be strategic. Now, occasionally there's a client that will get footage or photos of me behind the scenes, but none of them in blooper form. None of them catching me while I'm falling or tripping or any of that other jazz. Occasionally something with my shirt riding up a little too much maybe, but outside of that, not so much, but I would love to actually have that more. And obviously we've got to wait to capture some of that more, but may just start having to set up the GoPro and catch it off to the side. It'll be kind of boring because it's one shot, but it's a start at least. So we'll get to the point maybe where I can do some more behind the scenes stuff. And I think pretty much everybody that knows me knows the business, doesn't know me specifically. So I think that's something that we're all going to start to learn who each other is quite a bit through this process, from what their real hair color is to how they like to dress when they're at home to all of these things. We're going to learn the truth about a lot of people over the next few months, and it'll be nice. So so that's a great idea as well.
Okay. And
so okay, one more. Go for it.
One last question. Last question, Chris. And I know I'm putting you on the spot and you'll regret this, but so I know Rick, my husband, is a photographer, but his specialty is live action military, and he's great at that. But when we first started dating, I was amazed at the amount of time it takes for him to produce one photo. And so I've learned a lot, and I appreciate the art so much more because I have seen the backside of it, because I have seen the hours that he puts into it. Or like our company Christmas card, where Stark wouldn't cooperate, one of our dogs, and he had to Photoshop Stark in, because you know how dogs are. So are you going to do any videos that are like a day in the life of, or show all the hours that go into creating one photo? Because you can have an appreciation and love of art, but until you see what goes into it, I don't think you really understand the value. So I don't know if you'll maybe do any of that.
So right now, the one thing I'm offering is one-on-one tutorials, but to do a full process, it would be fun to try that. Again, it goes back to, the whole videoing side of things, but from the edit side to, capturing my screen as I'm editing, things like that. Yeah, we can definitely offer that. I'm not afraid to show my techniques and what I do. It's not really a trade secret or anything along those lines. But yeah, it's something to be able to really show how much time I'm putting into something. I think that's a big deal. That would really drive home to a lot of individuals why I charge what I charge, and that it's not just a quick photograph. It's not always just a quick snap. You're purchasing years of experience, not minutes on a schedule. And that's ultimately what's the most important when hiring a professional of any type, whether that's a lawyer, a doctor, photographer, you name it. So yeah, maybe we'll do that too. And I think a lot of people understood what was really involved in being whatever somebody is, and their value, their, the real weight of what they have to accomplish. They would understand the value a lot more. I don't like showing people my overheads just because why talk about money like that, but right. to understand insurance and the cost of software and equipment, and then payroll to me, just putting food on my own table, to make sure the doors stay open, paying the electricity bills, things like that. Actually having 2 electricity bills because, you've got studio, you've got home. So right. All of that option, all those things that have to go into place. If somebody's not a business owner, typically they don't fully understand or grasp what's involved in that. So it would be nice to break that down. And, I've seen it done a couple other times in memes and whatnot, but for me to break it down, I think would be, kind of important at some point in time for people to really see it. But at the same time, I also want people to just understand the value of what I do without having to tell them. That's my ideal client. Now, the term ideal is changing right now for everybody, because what was is no longer. Even if tomorrow there's a vaccine and everybody gets well, things are still going to be drastically different in the long run. So it's a nice little thing to add. So I should have kicked out and asked the audience. I thought I did at the beginning if they want to do any Q&A or ask questions, but I'm not seeing any here right now to you. And I actually think through your questions, I answered one that was to me. So I think we're good here. So everybody knows how to get a hold of Sara. You got the website here one more time. We'll kick that up. And through raptorconsulting.com, go down and call her, email her as needed. She can help you out with multiple things. Strategic planning is a huge deal. And being variable right now is incredibly important. So jump on that and see what she can do for you. And thank you, Sara, for being
you.
the inaugural first guest on this series. And hopefully this is something we can extend for quite a long time, although hopefully we won't have the need to. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there, but thank you for being part of this and joining me, and I appreciate it very much.
Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate the opportunity and that I turned the stage on you, because I'm sure you were probably expecting that. I do that often, but thank you. And if you need a great photographer or headshots, I am married to a photographer, but I will only let Chris take my picture, which is terrible, I know. But and honestly, I think that Chris is actually really cheap for his pictures. So just putting that plug out there for the quality that you get, because he makes me look younger than my true age. So I love it. So thank you, Chris, and have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Welcome.